And we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I am your host Ray. With me as always, we have Father.
Yeah, wearing a do rag is kind of fun.
I'm about to say, you cut your hair now. How them waves? What's the wave check looking like? I know you're not gonna get them immediately, obviously, but how you feeling?
I'm brushing every day. I got my creams and shit. So I'm just trusting the process.
What you using? Beeswax?
Nah, it's this. Hold on, let me. It's coconut and hibiscus curl enhancing smoothie with soap protein and neem oil.
God damn, you went straight Nubian black queen shit with yours.
Hey, when you got three sisters, you ain't got no choice.
I feel you. I was like, it used to be blue magic grease for me, and then like my sister would use up all the damn grease. But
No, bro, my sister used all my conditioner, so I feel that.
oh my god. Anyway, let's get started with the show. Obviously, me and Father being Meg the excuse me, Meg the Stallion fans. She finally appears on Instagram and gives her side of the story, and basically, everybody, wished her good wealth, good health. 50 Cent apologizes for the memes he put on there. And as I always thought, Tory Lanez looked like a damn scumbag. Father, since you and I are, Meg the Stallion fans, how you feel about her, like, finally coming out here? And what did you kind of learn from that?
Well, I guess the first thing I pretty much like got from that whole thing and what she said is this was a woman that was traumatized. This is a woman that something happened to her and she didn't appreciate that a lot of people were kind of like making fun of her predicament. And that's fair because like this is a woman, as we know, like her stock is rising, you know what I'm saying? Me and you, we always say this. She's literally like top three rappers out in the game right now, undebatable. So the fact that she's that influential, like she's already got her first copycat, like this early in the game. So it just shows you that like a lot of people are paying attention to her and her influence, it cannot be denied. So and like as early fans of her, like as fans from like 2016 and going, like we saw that in her, and we were very happy when she saw that. Oh, this woman, like she's releasing albums, you know what I'm saying? Like she's winning BET awards and shit. Like this woman, her stock is rising, and we love to see that, especially with young black women, especially a woman that's still in school and shit. Like that's a good. I feel like that's a good image for young women to see. Not, I mean, of course, people are gonna like debate her whole, hey, nah, she talks about scamming men and shit like that. But hip hop has always been about self expression. You know what I'm saying? If you want the conscious shit, you're gonna have the conscious shit. If you want the ratchet shit, there's the ratchet shit. If you want the gangbang shit, there's the gangbang shit. If you want to empower yourself, there's that too. So it's not fair to just say, oh, she raps about this, therefore she isn't worthy of being called a role model or being, or giving her props. And I think that's an issue of the black community. A lot of us don't really give people their props when they're rising, when they're doing this shit right now. So the fact that Megan, because Megan could have died that day, you feel me? And then the fucking energy would have been so much different. Or if Megan wouldn't have been shot in both her feet, like this conversation would be very different. I'm pretty sure there'd be no memes about that if Megan was seriously shot. You feel me? So I feel like we need to really, really be thankful that this woman did not lose her life. And the fact that she's still here to make music, the fact that, you know what I'm saying, like she's still here to give back to the people that, fuck with her the most, like that's very important. Another point I want to make is that Megan Thee Stallion said one thing that was really, really interesting to me, and it's that she didn't really give herself time to like mourn her mother's passing, and this was very apparent because when her mom passed, we saw her. She was doing concerts. She was hosting a whole bunch of events. She was releasing music left back to back, left to right. She was always like trending on Twitter for something. You know what I'm saying? She was making deals with Funimation and shit like that. Like she was just always doing something. So the fact that this shooting happened, like to me, I just feel like maybe this was a way for her to like really sit down and just really mourn her mother, or not even just mourn her mother, but to just take a step back and take some time for yourself. You feel me? Because when you're that type of person, like when you engross yourself in your work like that, you tend to lose sight of what's really important in your life. And then you tend to roll with people that really don't have your best interest at heart. And Megan Thee Stallion is literally a sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? This woman is like one of the nicest people in hip hop. I don't like, she never had beef with nobody. She never went out of her way to slander nobody. She never went out of her way to like beef with anybody. So the fact that this happened to her, like, it really, I guess it really forced her to like sit down and really think about how she's gonna move going forward, because she's only gonna get more popular. She's only gonna rise even more. So you need people in your corner that's not gonna switch up on you. So hopefully, I hope Megan Thee Stallion fully recovers, and I hope that she also takes the initiative to see who really has her back, and then she moves accordingly. Because I don't want to see our beloved sister, you know what I'm saying, in a predicament where she could lose her life again. You know.
You know, it's funny when I first look at this. I like the first thing I said when I heard about her getting shot, and it maybe by Tory Lanez. The first thing I thought about, and I was like on her side, not because I am a fan of hers and I'm not a big fan of Tory Lanez, but I was assessing the situation. I was like, this might be some little Napoleon shit, and it seems like I was right. So I want to make sure that there were, even though yes, a lot of people was throwing memes out, there were dudes, and I want people to realize this because I know the hotties was like supporting her, but there were dudes also that was fans of Meg Thee Stallion that had her that had her back and was supporting her and all that other stuff. Hey, you get 50 Cent to apologize. I think that's a big deal because 50 don't apologize for nothing. But I also say that sadly, with the fame, it comes with it. Because I know when Chris Brown and Rihanna was going through their domestic violence thing, they memed the fuck out of that. Bill Cosby. If you really look at Bill Cosby, the shit's not really supposed to be memeable, but we meme the fuck out of it. I think that's what we do especially in this society. I don't want to say just black people, but as a society, I think that's just what we do now. We just meme the fuck out of things and just like, um, you're going to get it whether you wanted to or not. That's why I usually tell people is like, like you might some people just gonna have to sit the memes like, but you hit the nail on the head because I was thinking this too. It's just like I wonder if she coped because people I was wondering that too because usually when a lot of people cope different when a close relative it is like passes away, and like I know a couple people like a battle rap reporter, his mom passed away and all that other stuff. Um he didn't do no reviews of battle rap for like a month, and it was just like that's just how he copes. He just goes backs away from life. He just distances himself and all that other stuff. I guess like this is what Megan does. She puts herself into the work. I don't think she ever did like really work on herself and see what's really like if she was really okay or not. But I'm glad to see she's healthy. I'm glad it wasn't fatal. The joint went right through, and I guess you could say the shooting is a blessing in disguise. I don't want to just like it made her realize that yeah, maybe she should slow down, maybe like focus on herself and all that, and just like be with Megan and like keep good energy around it, like you said. So maybe this might be a blessing in disguise. Oh, and one more thing, the Drea. I don't know if I said this last week, but I know I'm gonna say it this week. I do not think she was making a joke when she was talking about like she want that type of relationship. I honestly think she was dead ass serious. I don't know why people is passing off as a joke, but I don't want people to. And this is like another like a side note. I want people to understand that there are toxic people out there that want that type of relationship where like they don't feel like if you don't put hands on me, you don't love me. There are people out there like that, and I want people to understand that. That's why, like, when I heard her say this, and then like you looked at her jokes, and everybody was, and like, if anybody saw the podcast or like the podcast she was on and all that, like, I looked at her face, she was dead ass serious, and I don't care what anybody say, it wasn't a joke or not. I mean, she lost I expected her to lose like her Fenty line because Rihanna don't play that shit, and Megan also like chooses Fenty. She's also on that Fenty brand, but I expected her to lose her. But I want people to understand there are people that do kind of like toxic stuff about other people. Like they may need help for it, but there are people that like that toxic shit. Um, and that to me that needs to be addressed. Or why do they like that toxic shit? Some people do like a little roughneck. Some people do like people to like yoke them up a little bit for some reason. I don't know. Some people just into drama, and like you can see that in their relationship. So um before we go on to the next topic, what do you think about that, Father?
What about Drea?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw what she said, but like, okay, this is gonna sound really, really, really fucking, like fucked up. But I kind of really didn't really care what she had to say because I always saw her as kind of like, for lack of a better term, irrelevant. And I know she's super successful. I know she has like, I know a lot of people follow her and shit. But me personally, I've never been the type to like, oh, I wonder what Drea Michelle's doing today, or like shit like that. She was trending because she said something fucked up, and people was checking her ass left and right for it. So I guess that's the only thing I kind of really need from that whole situation. And also, as I said last podcast, last episode, the only thing I really got to say about that is she has really nice feet. That's all I can say. I don't really.
Yeah, I agree with you. She does have pretty feet. Yeah. And all right, so that's much to be said about that. On to our next where my notes at. Okay, all right. Um Speaking of, let's stay on black women. I've seen on like Twitter, I guess when Strong Black leaves, they're like putting the majority of the shows that was on UPN on Netflix, like Moesha, Sister Sister, The Parkers, anything half and half, any of them shows that was on UPN and all that other stuff, The Game, Girlfriends, and all that other stuff, they're gonna be on Netflix. So now you're gonna see more black shows that was in like the mid '90s and the early 2000s going to be on Netflix. So how you feel about that, Father?
um. Well, okay. So I'm gonna admit something to you. I actually did not really watch black sitcoms growing up like that. Like I've seen episodes of The Parker, I've seen episodes of like Moesha and shit, but like I never sat down and watched it season to season. The only shows I really did that with was like Fresh Prince of Bel Air and what else? It was Fresh Prince and another show. Family Matters. That's another show I kind of like watch from like season to season. But other than that, like, nah, I haven't really sat down and watched like black sitcoms. Not because, oh, I just chose not to do it. But like, again, I grew up in an African household. I grew up in a Ghanaian household. And while, that shit was always on, I just never really like sat down and like watched all those shows. So if I like the fact that Netflix is doing this, like if I wanted to, I could, go and do that, but part of me also thinks that this is kind of like that little symbolic bullshit that they do to lull black people back to sleep, low key. Because what's also funny is that the Parkers is on there, and Monique had that whole spat with Netflix about how she was being represented on that brand. So I just thought it was very, very interesting that they would do that when black people was the main people that wasn't really rocking with Monique like that when she was trying to say boycott Netflix and sue Netflix. As a matter of fact, there's a very famous Breakfast Club interview where she was calling Charlamagne the God Leonard, which was hilarious. And like during that interview, she was just trying to get her point across, and I felt like her argument like was valid. You know what I'm saying? Because they did lowball her. I think anybody who knows Monique's work will definitely say Netflix definitely lowballed her. But at the same time, like the fact that they're putting all these shows on Netflix, I don't know. It just seems kind of like tokenish to me. You know what I'm saying? It seems like, oh, Black Lives Matter is still going on. Let's put these black shows in here real quick. You know what I'm saying? So these college students that just experienced their blackness for the first time outside of the white suburbs or white high schools that they fucking grew up with can say, hey, I watched this. Therefore, the culture. It's that it got that new black energy to it. So, I mean, I'm not fully opposed to it, but that's just what it feels like.
I'm glad you think that way, but because it do kind of sound similar. It does like have some type of symbolic to it because they're finally, and I was gonna put this on the topic. They're finally FBI opening up the Breonna Taylor after people been for like what 2 months, 2 3 months talking about please arrest the people that killed Breonna Taylor. It's been like forever. So I'm glad. At one point it does sound symbolic, but on another note, I'm glad they are doing this, and the only reason this is because I've been seeing this on Twitter, and like I will admit, this is probably a minority of people of this, but I've also seen people agree with this. Like a lot of people talking about how there was never no black women representation on TV or something like that. It was just, and the back of my head is going like, and I can tell they're like young people. So but the back of my head is like, do we even watch TV? Because look at the shows they're bringing on there. It's like nobody remembers UPN, and that's the back of my head. I was like, all I saw was nothing but black sitcoms. I watched a lot of black sitcoms that had every color of black women you ever seen. Like look at the cast: Moesha, The Game, Sister, Girlfriends, The Parkers, Half and Half, and One on One. I watched all these shows. Like every one of these shows, I didn't watch. I'm not even speaking on the ones we already know, like the Family Matters, Martin, In the House, Wayans Brothers. It's just like
But
I've always said this: the '90s and early 2000s, just like it was like a plethora of black shows and a lot of black stars that we know back then like made they break in that time and all that stuff. That's why I think the '90s and the early 2000s like a golden era. Um, so it's just, but a lot of people think there was like not a lot of representation, or like they was just stuck in this like these three stigma, the strong black woman roles on the mammy roles and all that other stuff. And I'm like, you have obviously never seen some of these shows because these are different black, not only just different black people, but there are different black women in different areas of their life. Not every one of them like the mammy or the loudmouth friend and all that other stuff. Every one of them had different personalities, especially girlfriends. Those are four different women doing four different things. Um, so at one point, I just want people to like realize there were black representation. Now, I don't know if you was there to watch it or not. Like you, at least you admit, like, but you said you lived in an African home. But I feel like a lot of these people are like that, or they just think of. I think someone said it seems like the only successful black sitcoms are the ones with light skinned black daughters or some shit like that. I saw a tweet like that, and I'm like,
That's false.
yeah, that's what I'm like, yo, you are
wait,
reaching.
what?
You're reaching. Like, you know how like my wife and kids, how the daughter was light skinned and all that stuff. And they was talking about how like some of the more successful was just like the daughter's light skinned. I'm like, that's
That's
false and you're
false.
reaching. And this what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying this is a majority. I'm saying this is probably a minority of people because there was also people checking. It's like, dog, you never watched the Parkers, you never watched Family Matters, you never watched people in the house. Mia Campbell, she was dark skinned and beautiful. Lauren Winslow, she was dark skinned and beautiful. Matter of fact, everybody is on that UPN line are like different shades, colors of black and beautiful. Like you was represented no matter what you was saying. So I'm happy to see this just so like that type of minority people can shut their mouths about that because like you're finally get to seeing these representations and hopefully you get to study up or at least read up on it so you know not to make that mistake again.
Uh,
Dion,
one
Dion,
one thing I want to add real quick, just
go
one
ahead.
real quick thing. When Fresh Prince and what's that show called? My Wife and Kids. When they replaced the dark skins with the light skins, the show suffered. Like a lot of people don't bring that up either. Like they like to say, "Oh, light skin this, light skin that." But when Aunt Viv went light skin, nobody really fuck with Aunt Viv like that anymore. Her stock dropped immediately, not because the light skin actress was bad or anything, but the dark skin Vivian was just that iconic. You know what I'm saying? So when they say that, that's also like something to consider as well.
I agree with that because light skinned Harriet was not good either. Oh man, light skinned Harriet was not good, and like yeah, and I think the problem with dark skin and Viv is she went from someone to be like an intelligent woman that knew about her history and all that stuff, and an intelligent teacher to someone that's just complained, and I don't know why they switched that character like that. So like yeah, Viv was never the same when she went light skin. So Dion into the chat. What's going on, Dion?
That much. I think I had it on mute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I always get confused with this fucking thing and the mute button. But yeah, I caught most of that convo. And to add what you were saying about swapping the dark skin and the light skin characters in shows, um, black folk know colorism when they see it. So yeah, that played a part in why those characters got swapped the way they did, and why their ratings kind of went to hell once certain characters got swapped out. The one thing I will say though is that when they swapped the girls on My Wife and Kids from the whoever the dark skinned girl was to the light skinned girl that was on there for the remainder of the show, that was an upgrade. I didn't like the little dark skin. I didn't like her at all.
You didn't at all. Well, I don't know. When they turned to light skin, she became a klutz. She was like a
That's
total
very
klutz.
true.
He was like a total klutz that whole show. Like all she did was trip over shit. But go ahead.
Yeah, but I still feel like all in all, she was the better actress. The light skinned one that took over, I feel like she was the better actress. That one I'm not even gonna you know complain too much about. I feel like that was an upgrade.
All right. So, what do you think about Netflix putting on like shows that was on new UPN that is now going to be on Netflix? What do you feel? How you feel about that?
I'm all for the nostalgia. I'm all for watching some of those again.
Mm. All right.
Although,
Go ahead.
although the one thing now that you mentioned that, you kind of make me think of the Parkers, and then you make me think of this whole the bullshit going on between Netflix and Monique. So those things kind of chain together.
Yeah, I wonder how. Yeah, actually, I do wonder how Monique feel about the Parkers, but because I know I don't think they're getting residuals. Do you think they get residuals off of that being on Netflix or something like that? Do you think so?
They should. I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, you're right. They should. I
It'd
don't know if
be
they do that.
if the actors and the people involved in making those shows don't get any type of bread off of Netflix airing that shit, that's grounds for a lawsuit, in my opinion.
All right. All right. Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
I might, shit, I might watch some of those shows myself. I might just binge watch them.
Half and Half is really good. I don't know. Like I said, I fell in love with Rachel True. I just think that's a beautiful. She still look good to this day, by the way. And I hope they put on some shows that was on the WB, like the Wayans brothers and the Steve Harvey show. Then I will really start binge. I will definitely binge watch the Steve Harvey show. That show is still hilarious. So
I don't know because I don't know about Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey show is hilarious.
Yeah, but I'm kind of iffy on supporting Steve Harvey himself, not just anything connected to him. Knowing what I know about him.
All right, all right. I'm not gonna knock you. All right. Anyway, all right. On to more political news.
It's just the three of us. Damn.
Yeah, put the joint out there, but obviously, I've heard in the news that around November they're gonna be cutting off unemployment, and some people they're gonna be going from like $600 to $200. And I was wondering, what was your thoughts on that, the unemployment cut?
See, I only started receiving it about a month ago, and that's only because I was trying not to apply for this shit. I was doing other stuff to you know keep my bills and my rent in order. But yeah, that's gonna hurt a lot of people. So unless they're reopening everything and niggas can go back to work, then yeah, there's gonna be issues. There's gonna be many issues.
Father, what you think?
It's bullshit, and I'm gonna tell you why. They knew months in advance that the fucking unemployment was gonna run out. Not only did they know, they predicted when it's gonna run out. So the fact that they're sitting there trying to say, "Oh, it was gonna run out," so yeah, that's basically been the response of the government since this pandemic has started. Oh shit, there's not work is not going on, so yeah, and just like shit like that. And the thing that irks me the most is how a lot of American people are so narcissistic to the point where they cannot see that they have to do things or sacrifice things for the greater good. Other fucking countries, what they have over America is that they actually look at their citizens as citizens. Americans look at their fucking citizens like they're contractors. Oh, you're not working here, then you're not getting shit. Oh, you're not working there, then you ain't getting shit. Oh shit, you ain't making this much money, you ain't shit to me. That's basically how America operates. And I think it's unfair that the American people have to suffer just because the American government was incompetent enough to fucking prepare for a pandemic that happened all the way in fucking December. Other fucking countries got their shit together quick. Even countries that were hit the hardest. Italy was one of the countries that was hit the hardest. Look at them now. They're on the road to recovery. Japan had a fucking program where most of the people that were like quarantined, the government literally delivered food to their homes for free. But you see here, we're living in this country that's supposedly supposed to be the richest, supposedly supposed to be, the fucking breadbasket of the world, and we can't even get our shit together enough to handle a fucking pandemic. And you got other countries in Africa that has way less cases than America, and they doing way better than how America's doing it. So I don't like when it comes to the whole, oh, the unemployment is ending shit. That's just something that honestly that's something we shouldn't even really tolerate. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised America is still standing. Honestly, we should have been burned this shit down the way America treats its fucking citizens. These you spent time and time and time and time and time again getting up every day, busting your ass, working in order to provide for your family, put food on your table, and to make sure everything is good. And these motherfuckers can't even give you the decency to give you money to, survive. And then you tell them, oh well, it's gonna run out. But y'all had plenty of money to bail out the banks when the 2018 housing market crash happened. But they won't. But they twiddle their thumbs when it comes to bailing out the American people. And not only do we have to worry about that, we got to worry about people. Got to worry about their student loans. People got to worry about whether they have to pay money whether they gonna eat or not. Like there's so much shit that's just going on. Small business owners, they're getting destroyed. There's so much shit going on, and not only that, it is also estimated that like a good 30 million Americans didn't even have like enough to eat during this pandemic. A lot of them have suffered from food scarcity. Like, bruh, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what the fuck are they doing over there in the White House? This really should. I want to say it's a wake up call, but I don't think it's a wake up call at all. It's punishment. This is fucking punishment because America, with its fucking narcissistic ass, thought shit was sweet. And when we was trying to tell people, oh, don't vote for Trump because obviously this man is incompetent to do the job, they put his ass in anyway. So this is what y'all get. Incompetence all around.
I
Can I add?
I
Can I add the?
Go ahead, yeah. Go ahead, yeah.
See, here's my thing with the American government. They're not. It's been proven time and time again that the government is not about the people. Is That's been proven? I don't know how many dozens of goddamn times. If you're not one of like a select group of individuals, this country don't give a fuck about you. If you if you're not owner of one of these million or billion-dollar fucking corporations that I guess basically run the motherfucker because money, you know, this country don't give a fuck about you. That's the thing that a lot of people I hope are now seeing, because like Father said, we really shouldn't be in the position we're in. There- there's never been a real emphasis on the government helping its people. It's always been about, whoever's in the White House, whatever office, whatever, promoting whatever personal agenda, whatever their personal fucking vision is. Hell, even if Donald Trump isn't prime example of what I just said, I don't know what is. I'm still convinced that the only reason his stupid racist ass is even even got considered as a candidate is just for the simple reason of spiting Obama. That's it. They knew good and well this man wasn't qualified to do shit. But Democrats put a black dude in office. The Republicans needed to make a statement, put up a response, and here we have Donald Trump goofy ass.
That's it,
How?
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Um, I remember a long time ago where people didn't even know that this virus was deadly or not. I said specifically, I don't want this in the states. I feel like it's going to cause more problem than it would. And I was all I want to say. I was fucking not even the fact that it was deadly. That like I felt like when I first saw Wuhan, China, they shut down a whole fucking city and was putting people in fucking buildings with with their dead relatives in there just so like, and they was welding doors down. And I was like, yo, this shit might be bigger than people think. I don't know why people now. I know it's like a 98 survival rate if you got it, but at the same time, look what I'm like. I'm looking at what it did to Wuhan, China, and it's just like I don't want that shit over here. It's gonna cause more problems than it really is. And look what it's doing now. Like unemployment is they're trying to cut it from 600 to 200 if I'm correct. That's fucked up. But even then it was just like the people that was, working, the essential workers, they wasn't even getting extra money for like going to work. Some of them was like just getting by with the work. And then you have people, we're such a greedy company, or sorry, we're such a greedy country that there are some people just like, even though it was a pandemic, you have to find a way to pay rent. And people is just like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to pay rent? Jobs are closed down. My job is closed. What if? Well, you got to figure some way out. It's just like, yo, we can't like just stop the work. Like we can't just stop and think about our people instead of just thinking about the money and all that stuff. And then you got some of these jackasses that still want to go out even though there's a virus. And then now look at it, where it's supposed to be by now, it's supposed to be on a down slope. It fucking spiked up. I, like, what the fuck is wrong with people? It's just like It's one thing is the government, but I blame some of the people. It's just like we could have got our act together. Like I don't look. I don't. As far as the mask thing, I don't know what they're saying because Dr. Fauci saying one thing and then he's saying another thing and all that other stuff. I'm thinking staying inside is just like the best thing you can do, and it's just one of those things. But you just got just hard headed ass people. I know when I was watching in Italy, like the mayor himself was going around telling people, "Take your ass in the house." We ain't playing that bullshit. A lot of people who's just like that, or it's just, and even like countries like Japan, like you said, they had systems to help their people out because they know the people is going to get this country better. And now, like Japan is going to be able to have like crowds again and at their studios and shit. It's just one of those things. It's just, and now you look at us, we look like we got our head up our asses. It's just like why? And then not only that, the next thing I'm going to be talking about is just I feel like the government is trying to keep, I don't, for some reason, trying to downsize America. It's trying to kill some of us. I I'm not trying to turn this to a conspiracy theory channel, but it's the only thing I'm just trying to look at. It's just like you got some people going out early, and then next thing you know, they're spiking, and then some people just don't want to wear masks and shit. They're spiking, and then not only that, with the fucking killers of the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, and the protesters and the marches and all that other stuff. It's just like, yo, 2020 is just a wild fucking year, and it's just like I hope this year everybody learns to just look at themselves and just like we need to do better. In the words of Charlie Murphy, rest in peace, we got to do better. And anybody else, y'all got anything else to say before we move on to the next topic?
Um, they also said that how they was trying to send kids to school. Arizona was really trying to double down on that. They really wanted their kids to go back to school, and I'm like, I'd expect nothing less from a country that did absolutely nothing when Sandy Hook happened. So, I mean, hold that, I guess.
That was actually going to be our next topic right there. It's funny you say that because not only we're talking about cutting unemployments and people still got to find jobs. And what's the unemployment rate like? What 60% or something like that? Is
Oh no, it's not 60%. Hold on.
well, I know it's fucking high. It's fucking high. I may be reaching about but even then, now we're thinking about sending our kids back to school when it spikes. And like if you choose to stay, and like they're trying to make you choose to stay home, and I think you like I got to look it up, the consequences to like if you don't want to put your kid in school or some shit like that. What Father, you already started, you want to keep talking about that?
I mean, yeah, I feel like it's Sandy Hook all over again. I just feel like, hey, man, these kids died in school shootings. They can go back to school with this pandemic going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, you can't trust no damn kids to keep their mask on 24/7 and while they're in the school building. And second of all, it'll be much more safer for kids to be out the way anyway, at least for the remainder of the school year, because we still are, like we just said it, America is still incompetent when it came to the pandemic response. So why do the kids have to suffer all because you want to send some damn kids back to school? And then they was talking about, oh, they're gonna cut funding for school districts if they don't put kids back in school. And I'm like, y'all really trying to kill these motherfuckers? Like, it's not even like they're not even trying to cover that shit up. They're legit trying to kill these people, these kids. You know what I'm saying? And like all and for what? All for the sake of the fucking economy? All for the sake of like, this belief that, oh, we're supposed to be number one in everything. So, the kids gotta go back to school. And I'm like, bro, even when we were enrolled in school, y'all niggas barely had enough wherewithal to do the shit right anyway. Look at all the fucking school districts that are suffering today. You feel me? There should be no reason why there are school districts that are poorer than others. You feel me? There should be no reason why there are poor schools and then there's schools with a lot of money. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. You telling me that an institution that is supposed to fucking educate the young people of your society is subject to how much money they get because of the area that they live in and what they contribute to the fucking to what the contribute to the community when it comes to sports and other bullshit like that? Like, And then they want to sit there and wonder why. Well, kids just aren't learning. We're like, 11th in science and shit. I'm like, gee, I wonder why. Because y'all don't fucking prioritize your kids in these schools. So it's like, even if they did go back to school, they like these kids, they living through a pandemic right now. You really think right now is the best time for them to focus on their damn studies? College students right now, a lot of them still studying their ass off, but you can tell their mental health has taken a hit directly. If you look at a lot of the shit that the colleges were doing in the first place anyway, like these are people that are literally shackled in chains of debt just to get an education. They're going through a pandemic, and while there have been a lot of colleges that paid their students some type of money, some type of compensation, there's also a lot of schools that say, okay, we're having an online course and the tuition is still the tuition. So you got to find a way to pay that during the pandemic. And I'm saying that, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm sure y'all heard about the dilemma that a lot of foreign exchange students are having. A lot of students that are staying here with visas and shit, like because of the travel sanctions from the US, if they visa expire and they stuck in the US, and they get deported, bruh, you know what I'm saying? That creates a whole bunch of other red tape that motherfuckers don't want to deal with. So, like I said, all of this shit is just showing America's actual incompetence when it comes to this shit. This is not a country.
Dion, you got anything to say about it?
Well, funny thing. What Father just said a second ago reminded me of a Facebook post I saw. Some somebody said that okay, the question was, what have you learned during this pandemic, basically, and the answer was that America's a third world country wearing a Gucci belt.
Yep.
But see, when you when you think about a lot of shit, you know, is it wrong to kind of blame karma for certain things simply because okay, a lot of the flaws in what in most of what goes on in America, legal system, education system, or whatever, you know, a lot of a lot of the flaws due to stuff that was done to target people of color, you know, put people of color at a disadvantage. So now when certain shit is happening because of because of the way certain laws and regulations and this, that, and third are set up, and all the shit that's been caused by the pandemic, now a lot of these racist decisions are kind of coming back to bite the government. All that about, you know, how much the education system is suffering, you know, oh, because this region had, you know, has better funding than so and so. All that's by design, and America is finally paying, you know, paying the piper for that shit. That's how I look at that. All this is just years in the making.
Do you know how stupid we look and the government talking about we can all calm this down, kids, can like, just be kid, I know me, I couldn't stay still for shit. I didn't have ADD, but when I got bored, I didn't move. We not doing that. If I know I'm like that, I got a hard headed niece all the time that she doesn't like standing still for nothing. Now imagine that times like 30. You'll have a bunch of kids that just gonna go around, and then like I went through schools where there's like 1,000 people in a narrow ass hallway. So imagine like if people don't know how high schools are designed, like do we forget how high schools are designed? Because you're going to bump into somebody, especially like schools like the schools I went to, where there's like 1,000 kids, and like they got to get through this narrow ass hallway, and then like you're basically nut the butt next to people, and then you're just like you have to you're just asking to catch COVID, basically. So not only that, I'm wondering like if what about the people that don't like that? like have to pay for their lunches? Like, we gonna be concerned about them? Are you gonna be giving? Because I personally think if you're gonna go back, you should at least give the kids free lunch. I know the government's not gonna do that, but I feel like that's just one thing we need to do. Are they gonna wear like what hazmat? Are you gonna like give them hazmat suits or some shit like that, or like mask or some shit like that? I know you're not going to, but I feel like our our people are leaders are in the government is just not really thinking well, and it's just like you're really showing it, and then everybody. I feel like the whole America is like, are y'all really dead ass serious? Y'all just going to just do this, and they're just like, yeah. So I personally just like I just can't wait for this shit to be over. I really can't. I it's just
Man, my son was supposed to start kindergarten this year, dog.
yeah. I was about to say you
So
being
I'm
a
just
father.
like, I'm just like, I'm just waiting to see what they do and how they go about, whatever they're gonna try to do.
I was about to say I feel sorry for the people with kids because I don't know, man. It's just I think it's stupid. Any last words on this before we get into our final thoughts?
Get it together, America. God damn.
Facts.
All right, so now with that on we going to get into our final thoughts, and we're gonna start with Dion.
Did y'all already talk about that shit with Meg the Stallion?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you could throw your 2 cents on it if you want.
So I've seen the basically all sides of that whole thing. Meg talking about what happened. Fucking there were some people kind of making light of it. There were some people actually attempting to show support. For those actually trying to be supportive of what happened to this woman, good good on you. Need more like you. To the ones who were again making light of the shit, you know, laughing at her, the victim blaming. I saw a lot of that. Not to mention the um what's the word? I guess just a speculation over what really started the whole thing. First of all, it doesn't matter what started. She shouldn't have got shot. Second, regardless of what they were or weren't talking about, arguing about, whatever, he a bitch for having his gun out in front of a woman. Period. That's all. There's no other way to put that. And plus, finally with that, to to make fun of someone because of a traumatic experience like that, you know, that's that's not right at all. And whoever was making fun of this woman, talking bad or whatever about or whatever for something for a situation where she was the damn victim. May God have mercy on y'all.
Father.
This final thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Uh. I guess the one thing I'm pretty much gotta say is training in wave jutsu is kind of fun. Uh. You know. Uh. I've been brushing a lot. I've been I've been really trying to do my homework on how to get this shit started. I actually want to buy more do rags, but I can't because I'm currently not making any money whatsoever. Not even unemployment. That shit dried up for me a long time ago. And yeah, I'm basically living day to day, watching Netflix and getting my waves. That's pretty much what I've been doing. Also, shout out to all the plugs out there. Shout out to all the the Blaze Green dispensers, y'all are lifesavers. Cause, bruh, this pandemic, I ain't got shit else to do, bruh. I've just been watching Netflix. Can't even use my damn laptop. I don't have money to replace the part that I need replaced. So, shit, I'm just taking it one day at a time.
I'm just like you, man. Like I just finished binge watching The Office, all fucking 9 seasons, and yet I'm
Damn.
still not going to binge watch One Piece. So y'all can go ahead and not ask me about that. Um,
Don't blame you.
I don't have a problem with One Piece. I just don't want to go through. It's the same thing with Naruto. I don't want to. I just don't. Yeah, I think. And plus, people told me enough, and then I don't want to relive Neji dying because he was the realest nigga in the Leaf Village. All right, but but I'm glad they finally. I mean, as far as the FBI opening investigations, I'm glad that's doing a thing, and I've been keeping quiet on this because I don't know how this will go out without it sounding bad. But I'm trying to, because you know how you try to find a way to say it, and it's just like I don't know if I should say it, but not say it at all. But I don't like the way people are memeing Breonna Taylor's death. If that makes sense to y'all.
Nah, that makes sense.
Okay, like if you're just the people who just say arrest the killers that um murdered Breonna Taylor, I don't have a problem with that. That's straightforward to the point. It's one of those things like it's like turning into a meme where it's just like like people's just like sticks and stones may break my bones, but Breonna Taylor's murders it's just like all right, we're getting to a point where it was like it gets to a meme, and I don't know, it just don't feel right when people do stuff like that. It's just or like even like when we talk about stuff like this and everybody's like, oh, while this is happening, Breonna Taylor's murders is like, bro, I can focus on two things at once. All right. It's just, I know what's going on here and I know what's going on there, just like a majority of people. It's like, and plus, I've been saying this a lot. It's like no one is forgetting, obviously, because people, I've seen that thinking about it's not trending, but people are trying to forget. They're trying to make people forget, and I'm like, no one is making no one forget. We done had protesters, we done had marches, people done got arrested, people caught felonies over marching for Breonna Taylor's, which they shouldn't, by the way. That shit is bullshit. Um,
Yeah.
but it's just one of those things where I want, and I say this all the time, I want those people to be brought to justice for Breonna Taylor's murder. But please, I don't know. Something about them memeing it, like people meme it, it's just like I don't know, rubs me the wrong way about it, and that's just like me on that. Um,
I mean,
Also,
that's
I
just the
got
curse of social media, dog.
yeah, that's the curse of social media. And I know you wasn't here, Dion. I was saying the same thing about Meg the Stallion. That's the curse of social media. Like people are going to make fun of it, no matter how tragic it is. Like people are like they're going to give you shit. So shit is going to die. The Meg the Stallion shit is going to die. But arrested people. Um, yeah, y'all know what I was about. Y'all know what I'm about to say. I'm getting my words jumbled. I'd like to thank everybody for getting on the podcast tonight. I would like to thank the panel. I would like to thank for y'all listening to hear us talk our shit again. I hope everybody has a good weekend. This is you know what. Let me just say podcast, and I'm signing out. Peace.
Yeah.